Hello everybody, welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 11 Deadline stream, and it's live. My name's James, and over the next 55 minutes or so I'm going to try and answer as many of your FPL dilemmas as I can between now and the 6:30pm UK deadline. First of all, before I do, let me talk you through the graphics. Top right hand corner of the screen, you will see my team. One transfer for the game week. Ivan Toney in for Mikel Antonio. The other transfer rolled. I plan to go Havertz to Son in game week 12. To do so, I need to find around about 0.4 million in money. I'll be using the other transfer to do that. I suspect the international break will decide what that other transfer is going to be. Below my team is my top 10 captaincy picks for the game week in order of preference. The only person that I would personally consider taking Mo Salah on with is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Havertz, Vardy, decent alternatives. Not good enough for me to captain Kane or Son as yet. It might be viable from game week 12. Ben Chilwell, if you were ever going to do it with Marcos Alonso's injury, might not be the worst shout in the world. To the left of me, you'll see my predictions. It's got the schedule on the screen at the moment, but the predictions will swing round in a moment for all 10 games. And right at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the fixture ticker for every team for the next 5 fixtures. And benching dilemmas should be on the screen now. Page 1. Antonio over Jimenez. Jimenez over Armstrong. Armstrong over Rafinha. Rafinha over Jota. Page 2. Jota over Mbeumo. Mbeumo over Cancelo. Cancelo over Duffy. Duffy over Ben White. Page 3. White over Diaz. Diaz over Gallagher. Gallagher over Hwang. Hwang over Livramento. Yes, it is a big benching dilemma week, this one. Page 4, Livramento over Gray. Gray over Sarr. I had to check who I've got there. Sarr over Region. Region over Shaw. And for the keepers on page 5, Ramsdale over Sanchez. Sanchez over Martinez. Martinez over Gator. Gator over Sarr. The benching dilemma screen should spin round a little bit quicker than it has been doing so previously, but I'll try and keep an eye on it for you. Right, let's get into your questions then without further ado, guys. He says, having lost all the fucking questions. Right, Joe Gifford's first. Hi James, only one free transfer this week, but got a few different ways to go. Loads in the bank, so lots of flexibility. Rafinha to Son, Diaz to James, or roll the free transfer. Don't mind moving Diaz to James, but good week to roll, mate, if you got any doubts. But yeah, Diaz to James is absolutely reasonable if you want to make that move, mate. Garlic 25, evening James. Gray to Gallagher, Elise, Smith roll, or roll my transfer. I'd either bench the player I bring in or play them over Tommy Asso. I do have Sarr from Wolves if I bring in a Palace player. Good luck this week. Smith row of the 3, personally, but I wouldn't want to bench an Arsenal defensive player this particular week. I'd be wanting to play them personally. Lewis Coles says, hi James, Gray to Mbeumo for free. Cheers. Yeah, can't really see many reasons not to make that transfer, to be very honest with you. Essen says, hi James, made a transfer this week. Oh, he's lost it again. Sorry guys. I have made a transfer this week and have planned one next week, so bringing in Son for Havertz will require a hit regardless. Should I do it this week? Thanks and have a nice evening. Nah, can't see a reason to force it. I think with the doubts around Mason Mount, I can't see any reason why Kai Havertz won't play for Chelsea personally. So I'd be leaving Kai Havertz in personally. No rush to do it. That's the move I've got planned for next week. Wouldn't rush it at all. YouTube's right playing bastards with me with my fucking chat this morning. Look at me, like I haven't already been up for 10 hours. Lauren Harris, hey James, hope you're well, buddy. Start one of Livramento, Benrahma, Smith, Alan St. Maximin. Have a good one. I'd go Benrahma personally. Lewis, I see goals in West Ham and Liverpool personally. Lewis says, hi James, would you do Rafinha to Jota? No, this is not the week to be selling Rafinha. I expect goals in that fixture as well. Leeds versus Leicester. Clash, as discussed on Clash of Correspondence yesterday, really expect that game to go off, actually. Could well be, we predicted 2-2. A couple of us, me and Aaron Lager, Both predicted 2-2. Both are averaging conceding 1.7 goals per game. Leicester have conceded more chances down their left-hand side than any other team. That includes Norwich. I would not be selling Rafinha this week. Possibly next week. Might be worth considering, but I don't think you need to force that move now, personally. Alistair Coper says, hey mate, would you bench Mount this week over Antonio? I had Mount starting, but those two comments have me worried. He'll be on the bench at best. Thanks. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, I'd play Antonio over Mount anyway. Antonio return any game. Like, loads of us are selling. I've sold him, but if I had him, I'd still be playing him. I'd play Antonio over Livramento this week without hesitation, actually. So, yeah, you know me, I'm going to go with a forward, Alistair. So, you're giving me a forward or a player with a great fixture, but perhaps we think's not going to start. And I think it's reasonable to expect Mason Mount won't start. Joe Finney Badder says, evening, James. Diaz to Chilwell worth a transfer. Feels like one I want to do every week. Would start Adam Armstrong otherwise. Have James already. I think Armstrong plays again. Decent fixture. I expect Saints to win tonight. But that's one certainly. I mean, if you ask me, Chilwell or Adam Armstrong, obviously you can't be leaving Ben Chilwell out at the moment. I think it's a reasonable time to make the transfer. Actually, Joe would probably do it. Lexus Steeleman says, hi James, good luck this week. I have exactly enough money to do Vardy to Kane next week. I asked today as I believe Kane will go up in price. Not worth the risk with an international game week. Have 2 free transfers. Again, I think Leeds-Leicester's got goals in it. I think Vardy's a better option than Kane this week. Personally, I would not be making the move now. If you've got a couple of frees, you can find somewhere else to find the money when you want to do that next week, which with Vardy playing Chelsea, you probably will want to do. Yologul says, asking before the stream starts, but no doubt you cover it. Start Livramento or White. Ben White for me. Arsenal clean sheet on the cards, I think. Hasselbank is win. Hi James, what are your thoughts on a new rule in FPL awarding differential picks, i.e. if you captain a player less than 10% owned by the game you get more points? I reckon, my friend, unfortunately the masses around the world, including the robots, wouldn't be able to cope with that. Jeff Priestman says, greeting from the States, James, and thanks for everything you guys do. Cheers, pal. I like to play aggressively. Is a -4 for Ronaldo to Aubameyang this week worth it? Then back to Kane or Ronaldo for free after the international break? So, Jeff, what are you going to do next week when Ronaldo's at Watford and Aubameyang goes to Liverpool? Are you going to be aggressive about it again? Only worthwhile for me if you're sticking the armband and Aubameyang. Cristiano Ronaldo is a big game player. Any place, any time. Have to be a no from me, Jeff. But you've already said you're aggressive. If it suits your style, go for it. Marcus Wyatt says, all the best for the weekend, James. I'm stuck with Pookie for another game week. Will he ever leave my squad? Yeah, sell him now. Joe Burns says, simple question, Reece James or Ben Chilwell? With the Alonso news, it's Ben Chilwell right now for me. Hi James, looking forward to the stream. Is Manchild really bad at FPL, or is it a rivalry you have? All the best this game week. His team's dead. He never logs in. FPL Hitman, bench Edouard or Livramento. Cheers, good luck for the game week. That's a nasty one, because on the advanced tier Patreon stream, our team news stream that we've just done, I predicted that Edouard might get left out. It's a hunch though. Like, there's nothing really substantial on that. It's just a hunch. With that in mind, I'm going to say, no, I don't like it. Don't like it. Bollocks, play Livramento. You feel better. Bad Company says, hi James, was tempted to bring in Lucas for Mount until I heard about the Firmino news. What do you think about Lucas as a cheap route into Spurs for the upcoming fixtures? Good luck this week. Bad Company, did you listen to the whole 40-minute podcast we did on Tottenham earlier today, which included basically me covering just about every Tottenham asset possible? There is a link to that podcast in the stream. No, I don't rate Lucas Moura as an asset. In short, I think there are better players at similar prices and in cheaper. I put it to you like this. Would you rather buy Smith Rowe or Lucas Moura? I'd buy Smith Rowe. FTLOL podcast afternoon, James, who's best defender 4.8 million below for the next 10 or so weeks. Already have White, Livramento. I would be considering some of the 4.5s. So Rico Henry, for example, at Brentford, it would be my preference. Tyreek Mitchell at Crystal Palace. They've both got long sustainable fixtures and you can leave these guys on the bench. My boy Matt Lowton at Burnley, but obviously if you want to play him this week, that's not going to work for you. I would probably still say Burnley, actually, and Lowton. He's still 4.4. Reasonable. That 0.4 might come in handy. Palace, Brentford, great alternatives for a long period, as long as there are only rotational options for you. Shane Mibbs says, bringing Cornet for Gray, having Buemo already. Stop. He's away to Chelsea. Roll the transfer. Ritwick Via says Salah or Kane as differential captain. You're obviously not meaning. I think we need a comma in there. Salah or Kane as differential captain. No, not the week. Salah's effective ownership is going to be monstrous again. Fantasy Football Scout put out their poll captaincy this week. Mo Salah or anyone else. 4,000 votes, 80% went for Mo Salah. And I think there'll be goals in the West Ham Liverpool game personally. Not the week. This is a Salah week. And I'm going to be saying that for a few more weeks till he either gets injured or someone like Kane feels like can explode. Next week, if you've got Ronaldo, you can take it on, I think. James Nelson says, hi James, good luck this week. Thanks for all you do in the community. Would you do Sarr out for Smith Rowe or Mbuemo, have Tony, or just roll? This would mean starting Livramento. Thanks. Yeah, I'd play Livramento over Sarr for this particular week, and I'm not loving that, but yeah, that's what I do. He's got a good fixture. I think I'd buy Smith Rowe. Personally. That said, I could move Mbuemo to Smith Rowe for the other free transfer, but it doesn't give me the money that I would need to get Heung-min Son in game week 12. So be conscious of future moves. Out of the two, I'd buy Smith Rowe. Luke Hopkinson says, James, have a good one, mate. Start Livramento, Cancelo or Mbuemo. I think it's got to be Mbuemo this week. Mbuemo is over Cancelo, actually on page 2 of the Benching Dilemmas screen. Pavanar says, hey James, got 2 free transfers. Havertz, Adam Armstrong to Jota Tony. Don't sell Havertz this week, please. Originally was thinking of Armstrong Duffy to someone as a luxury move and have 2 free transfers for the international break. But the Jota move got me thinking. Thanks. No. If you can go Armstrong to Tony in one move, great. You might not be able to afford that financially. In which case, shove something in your team that's going to save you money. I'm not big on selling Havertz this week. Look at the captaincy ticker. I've still got him 3rd. He's playing out OOP for Chelsea. Not this week. Leicester away next week, fine. Move off. Then it's United afterwards. They've got a tougher run. This is the last week for Chelsea. After that, I can't see me being interested in their attacking assets for ages. And I'm definitely booked in Havertz to Son next week. So consider that, Pavan. Can you open up the money if you don't have Son to move Havertz to Heung-min Son next week? Consider that, my friend. Or even Havertz to Jota and then open it up next week instead. Ritwick says, Sarr out for Mbuemo or Barnes. No, not Harvey Barnes. Wouldn't even be assured of him starting. In fact, Brendan Rodgers said he's a doubt. So it'd have to be Mbuemo, mate. Ritwick says, Azpilicueta, keep or sell. It's not as straightforward as that, is it? Who are you buying? If you don't know, you're buying, keep. Start 3 out of Semedo, Livramento, Gallagher and Mbuemo. Definitely Mbuemo. To be honest, Semedo's definitely the one out of them I'd leave out. Definitely. Liam H. Ronaldo to Kane on a free transfer. You can do, but just have a second look at game week 12, Liam. Miena says, hey James, you've come this far with Ronaldo. Just give that some second thoughts, Liam. Miena Sedholm says, hey James, was thinking of getting Trent and Broha for Azpilicueta and Rodrigo from -4. Should I just do Rodrigo for Tony and give up on Trent? As said, West Ham Liverpool, I think it'd be goals, both teams. So no desperation to be taking hits for Trent. So, yeah, right week for Tony. You could look at that, if you're not happy with Tony after this week, say blanks. You can make similar -4 move next week, right? No guarantee Broha plays either. I don't think he starts. I think it'd be Armstrong and Adams again, personally. Reece Marlowe, play one of Christensen, Duffy and Livramento. Already have Rudiger. Doesn't matter. You're going to play Christensen, aren't you? You can't overlook the Chelsea player. I would go Duffy over Livramento because I think Brighton win. I think they win well. It's worth saying, I think Duffy plays. I think they changed system to a back 3. I've retweeted FPL Seagull's tweet from earlier today. He's our Brighton correspondent. He knows more than I do. He also thinks they'll go back to a back 3, but predicts Duffy not to start. The thing is, though, with someone like Shane Duffy, he either plays or he doesn't. Chance of him coming on as a substitute, slim. So Christensen, Duffy, Livramento, the order you've written them, Reece. Justine Jazz, hi James. Please help me out. Play 2 out of Foden. Minutes concerned. He's like their best player at the moment, mate. Don't be. Duffy, Livramento, Antonio. Foden, Antonio. Duffy over Livramento. That's where I'm at with it. Steve Jones. Hi, James. Thanks for the continued great content. Always look forward to the pods driving about or in the gym. Oh, you're not going to invite me to the gym, are you? I wonder if the Morpay guy will make an appearance this week, given the fixture, or the fact that he didn't even make it in the fucking team last week. Hello, where's the Morpay guy? Where are you? Dan L says, they've got a great fixture though. Like, he's a good punt this week, Neil Morpay. I think he'll come back in the team. Dan L says, hi James, use free transfer to get Tony for Antonio. Now worried about Mason Mount. Should I bench for Livramento and sell Mount in game week 12 or just at -4 now for Rafinha, Jota or Foden? That's a really tough one, actually. Whether those guys are worth a -4, I'm not sure. Do you want Rafinha long term? Look at Leeds' fixtures 16 to 19. You don't have to look that far. Are you happy with Rafinha's fixtures 12 to 15 versus Mount? If the answer to that is yes, I'd take the -4 for the Brazilian. Similarly, same applies to Jota. You know he's going to start at the moment. Firmino, in Klopp's words, serious hamstring injury. Might not play again this year, which suddenly Diogo Jota's going to be all the rage. We know his statistics are great. The only thing that ever puts us off with him is the starts. So, if you don't go Jota now, what do you do next week? I think Jota's the one that's going to be all the rage. Is it worth a -4? I'm not convinced. You need to work that out, Dan, in terms of what you think of your next plans. If you've got any doubt, just go with Livramento, mate. Sam Holden says, hi James, do you think you will get Lamptey on your wildcard in game week 16? No, probably not, because Brighton's fixtures over Christmas are not great. So Brighton probably won't be in the wildcard, I don't think. Unless I deem him to be a bench option for that period and hold him longer. Dylan Ferner Rose, hey James, I'm making a move for Mane, but Bernardo Silva or Ben Rama needs to make way. Who would you drop? Silva. Personally, good time to come off Ben Rama though. I think for the majority of people, I'd still probably play him this week again for the umpteenth time. I think there'll be goals in that fixture. Bernardo just doesn't offer it for me as an FPL asset. I don't like it. Name Stevens. Hi James, thoughts on KDB to Son? Don't mind. However, just remember KDB, big game player. Scored at Anfield. He's scored at Old Trafford plenty of times before. He steps up in the big occasions. I wouldn't force it. Tiffy Ferrero, play FPL A and it's live with Suj. I'm not sure what you're saying, Tiffy, but thanks, mate. Oliver Jacobs, play 2 of White, Livramento, Gallagher, Antonio. Definitely Antonio. Put him top of the bench in dilemmas to make a clear point that I would definitely play him. I've even got him above Jimenez actually this week, personally. From the others, I'd go White. That Arsenal clean sheet looks locked on this week. Jason still in. Hi James, never taken an 8 before. I presume you mean a -. 5 red arrows out of the top 100k now. Already done Sarr and Greenwood out to Mbuemo and Smith Rowe. Tierney to James, Sonny in next week. Depends on your bench, Jason. I think Tierney will play, personally. It's fairly obvious as I've got him in my team. Is that worth a hit? I've already Tierney could be big this week. Could be big. 1 attack and return. He's letting at a 12 or 15 pointer possibly. Drew Howard, would you downgrade Trent to James to fund Havertz to Son? I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I mean, I wouldn't do both probably now. As I already said, keep Havertz this week. But if you were going to downgrade Trent, do it. I would just take a second look on yourself and say, do you really... I know kind of everyone's talking about Sonny at the moment. But you're losing Trent and then you're not coming back. And look at Liverpool's fixtures after this week. Arsenal at home, Southampton at home, Everton away, Wolves away, Villa at home, Newcastle at home, Tottenham away, Leeds at home. Trent, I can't get to him at the moment. I can't justify it for hits. I don't think I'd be selling him if I owned though. The one and only Smith, evening James, Foden to Son for a -4. Foolish, right? Yeah, no, don't do that, mate. Steve Grenwell, victories for you, James. Thanks for the hard work. What have I won? Skandahar, yo, James, I hope you got Livramento versus Cancelo versus Duffy on the benching dilemmas, because I can't be arsed. I might just flip a coin. Yep, they're all on there, mate, and you'll find your answer. It's all on there, mate. Tiffy says, why are people mad with bringing in Son, making his price rise to 10.3? Good question. LNNG, hello James, which of Gray, Dennis or Semedo should be first to sell? No big fires in my team, and these have been my lowest performers. No spare cash. PS, happy Diwali to all in the stream. Happy Diwali from myself to everyone in the stream who's celebrating. I think Gray, Not a great week to sell because I can't see Tottenham keep the clean sheet at the moment, to be very honest. He's got the best fixture of them this week. But if it's just a case of moving it on, you've got players you can go to like Emil Smith-Rowe, who's got a great fixture this week. Semedo, you can come down to kind of them 4.5s I mentioned earlier. It's probably Dennis last. If you can come down off Gray and come down off Semedo, does that open you up, Dennis, to go in a couple of weeks to someone at a higher price point? Consider it. Mind Switch Coach. Hey James, thanks for another great week of content. Bench one of Diaz, Livramento, Armstrong, Antonio. Thanks. Livramento, mate. You'll see Antonio and Armstrong right near the top of the bench in dilemma screen, mate. No doubt about it for me as ever. Luke Harris, good evening James. Pick 2 from Smith-Rowe and Buemo and Gallagher for the next 4 fixtures. Cheers. Smith-Rowe straight away for me. I'd go and Buemo over Gallagher personally. That would be my instinct. Mohammed Ali, Lord Linden, Havertz or Tony captain. Don't give me the Salah malarkey. I'm going to give you the Salah malarkey, mate. If you want to choose from one of the other two, I've made it clear. Havertz is 3rd on the captaincy page. Ivan Toney is 10th. Chris Elman, hi James, excellent people's poll pod. Just finished it. Which two of Livramento, Broja, Smith-Rowe, Cancelo or Pinnock would you bench? Cheers, James. Can't bench the Brentford player, unfortunately. I wouldn't be benching Smith-Rowe. So ironically, I can't believe I'm going to say this, I would play... are you benching 2 of them? So I'd play Cancelo. So bench Livramento, Broja. As I said, I'm not convinced Broja comes back in. Armstrong and Adams played well together last week. Vegard says, good evening, James. Should I do Ronaldo to Kane for 1 free transfer or roll? I'd consider rolling, mate. Andrew Grand, international break as well. You got the power to roll, and most of us should do this week, right? Because a lot of us have got real bench dilemmas this week. So, any doubts, roll the transfer. Andrew Grandin, James, what do you make of Tuchel's remarks about Mount? Lost weight, unable to eat properly, but will be available for some minutes. Makes me feel 1 point off the bench, worth starting Duffy. Yeah, probably is, mate. Jamie Shea, hi James, looking for a 1 week punt under 7.4 million before wildcard next week. Preference between Zaha and Trossard. I'm so glad you said Trossard, because honestly, Leandro Trossard was the person that I had in mind. Half tempted by a swing with Ziyech. I don't mind that Ziyech. I mean, it's literally just 1 week. Trossard though. When I was reading the question, it was the person I had in mind. So I think naturally, yeah, Trossard. FPL telling Josh, evening James, good luck with the game week, mate. No question, just sweating on bench points this week. Won't we all, mate? I kind of feel glad that with Zakiri, I know he's getting nothing. Foster's highly unlikely to get anything. Loughton's highly unlikely to get me anything. So just Livramento, isn't it? It's going to return, obviously. But I still hope he does, right? Because who knows, with 9 games still to go, any of my players could potentially miss out. FPL telling Josh, that's what just done. Adam says, I think United score, so play Duffy over Cancelo, right? It's a very, very close call. I've got them next to each other on the bench in dilemmas, and honestly, I would go Cancelo. Personally. Remember the attacking potential output. Duffy, if he plays, it could be very good. Could be very good. I would personally be loath to leave Cancelo out. I can't even believe... I mean, the benching dilemmas this week, the big names on there, and I couldn't even fit in like Ben Rama and stuff. Ben Rama I'd have about halfway for reference and stuff. You know, Livramento, he's on like page 4. I mean, this week is a headache for so many people. J-Lord Broski says, hey James, just stuck in traffic by Gatwick en route to Brighton away. Looking forward to the stream. Hope all's well. Stay safe, mate. If you've been there before, you'll know that's cold at Brighton. It will no doubt rain. It always seems to rain there. Ryan Walker says, hi James, happy Friday. Bench Wang or Livramento this week. By the way, if you hear any loud noises, like there's not gunfire getting shot at. There's not people getting shot outside my house. There's fireworks. Bench Wang or Livramento this week. Also thoughts on Gator going forward. Huang and Livramento, you'll see, is also on the bench in dilemmas. They're right next to each other. I've got Huang over Livramento. Please have a check of the bench in dilemmas, guys. If your question he's on the benching dilemma screen. Please do the courtesy of deleting it. It'd be very much appreciated. Thoughts on Gator going forward? Yep, decent option longer term for 4. I want to say it's 4.5 still. If not, he can't be much more. As said, Palace sustainable fixtures. I would go him over Alvaro Fernandez because we haven't really got the kind of data or knowledge on Fernandez yet. Very reasonable choice. FPL Najib says, hi James, who should I play between Antonio, Janssen, Mount or Cancelo? Only one will play, the other 3 will be on the bench. Christ almighty. Is the rest of your team really that good, mate? I'm going to stick with Antonio. Sap says, bench Rafinha, Duffy or Cancelo. It's not Rafinha, mate. Duffy and Cancelo I've already covered. Forever QPR, having McCarthy, Livramento, White and Dennis on my bench. Would you pull the bench boost? I'm very tempted. No, I think, and we discussed this in our Patreon pod this morning, for a lot of people it's going to fall very nicely to really consider going for it. And that one's not too bad. What I can't answer for you is who's in your team. Any rotation risk in your team of someone getting a 0-pointer, it is not worth it. And I'll go back to what I always say. Do you believe those 4 players get you 16 points or more? If you genuinely, truly believe it, do it. I don't fancy Saints for a clean sheet tonight. I'm pretty sure they'll win. Don't fancy him for a clean sheet. So I'll put Livramento at par on 4 points in case there's an attacking return. McCarthy at a 2 point at 6. I think Ben White standard 6 point at 12. Dennis 1 point at 13. It's a no. Milan the villain. Hi James, got no Chelsea defence but 2 free transfers. Do I go Mount and Semedo to Mbuemo and Chilwell, which might lead to a -4 after the break? Keen on getting Sonny, or just Ben Rama to Mbuemo and roll 1 free transfer? Cheers. With freeze and you go Ben Chilwell, I don't do it personally. Then take me. I'm not going to use the second one to go Cancelo to Diaz because I'd probably only want to reverse that next week, right? So you're talking about getting Son. Are you happy to take that -4 next week? Any injuries over the break, suddenly it could be a -8. Or then you feel desperate going without Sonny. So consider the other side, right? Andrew Grandin says, James, when will FPL Twitter give up on Brentford attackers? Hwang and Jimenez are similarly cheap and usually are involved when Wolves score. Brentford boys are promising. Wolves boys are producing. Yeah, there's a problem with that, mate. Brentford play the 2 worst teams in this league at the moment in the next 2 weeks, while Wolves play Crystal Palace, very good at the moment, and then West Ham the week after. And that's why, mate. Because if Wolves were playing Norwich at home this week and Newcastle away next week, we probably would all be sitting there with Hwang and Jimenez rather than Buemo and Tony. It's a fixture target, Andrew. Amar says, Cucurella or Semedo? Cucurella for me, mate. Will Jones, hi James, do you reckon Duffy starts? I'm going to say yes, but I've already explained this. And if not, do you think he will come on? No. Just debating whether to play Antonio Livramento over him. Yes, I would still play Antonio over him. Keep up the good content. Nigel Sam, hi James, benching order of Benrahma, Livramento and Semedo. The order you've got it in, mate. Andrew Xenofontos says, Armstrong playing 90 today. How long's a piece of fucking string, mate? I have no idea. Does 90 matter? What happens if nah, mate, he's only going to play 86. No idea. I think he'll start. I think it was very unlucky not to return last week, but I don't pick the team. Ralph does. FPL telling Josh, sorry if it adjusts in time, but score prediction page not updating, just the fixtures on screen. All right, let's give that a bash then. See what the problem is. I'll keep an eye on it. I think it should come on. Thank you though, Josh. Jahan Ahmed, what do you think Conte's ambition is with Spurs? Get sacked and get a big payoff. Do you think he honestly believes he can win the league in the coming years? I think he probably does, yeah. Is he likely to? No. Skandahar, no way you put Armstrong over Rafinha with Broha back. Yep, well, I did. NS Sangani 25. Hey, mate. I don't know why I said it like that. Sorry, pal. Big fan of your work. I've got Aspi and Rudy. Is it worth swapping one out for Chilwell or James this week or roll? I would consider the upside of going Ben Chilwell at the moment. Looks like a certainty to start, doesn't it? Let's see if we can fix this prediction thing. There's always something, isn't there? I don't know why, but it always seems to be something. Let's see if that maybe does the trick. I'll keep an eye on it. Paul Mansell says, Andy, Let's Talk FPL has convinced me to play Antonio over Cancelo. I'll do the same. But do I play Cancelo over Rafinha, roll in my free transfer? No. Scott Thomas, 200 watching, only 20 likes. Like just for the graphics. That's true. While you're there, give my man FPL Captain on Twitter a follow. I hear Champman FPL might be on the way back. I've heard that rumour. Yes, if you want to get the Planet FPL word out there and join the stream, a like and a sub would be very much appreciated. Thank you, Scott. Lalutri, Sarr to Smith Rowe and Diaz to James. Have 2 free transfers. Yep, quite like that, mate. Sage says, bench 1 of Antonio, Jota, Smith Rowe. Dirty. Jota. Sap says, bench Rafinha, Duffy or Cancelo. I've been over this already. Duffy versus Cancelo a number of times. I played Rafinha over the other 2. Arvin there. Ronaldo came from -4. Nope. Aussie James Bayram in a 10-team draft league. Have Gundogan, who I'd like to ditch. Lucas Moura on free agency. Worth a punt. Sorry for off topic. Great content. No, that's fine, Aussie. I don't mind having something different come in, mate. For me, no. As covered on the Tottenham podcast we did earlier. By the way, if you don't want to watch the Tottenham podcast now, do watch it when the deadline hits. Link is in the bio. Jose Vargas, what to do with... Give that a like and all. Jose Vargas, what to do with Mount, Trossard, Jota or Gallagher? What to do with them? Mount, sell. Trossard, buy. Jota, buy. Gallagher, I'm not desperate for, personally. Jack Cholton, hi mate, just want to say the graphics are top drawer, best in the biz. It's my man FPL Captain. Give him a follow on Twitter. K Pills, which I don't know how mine are the best in the business because he seems to do everybody's fucking graphics. He's a superstar. K Pills worth 1904. Would you say TAA is essential? No, mate. No player's essential. I'm not even having it. I mean, it's daft to go against Salah at the moment, in my opinion. But I won't have the essential. If you want to go against it, go against it. Could be a differential to go without him considering how many teams he's in. Yeah, like you can go without Trent. I've been going without him for weeks. And actually he's not been that bad. Murray Mintz, hi James. Do you think Sergi Canos is a good shout this week? So short term, mate. So short term. Not for me. Struggling to think of making a case to buy him over Mbuemo, and I can't think of one. Other than maybe you can't. I couldn't even tell you what price Sergi Canos is, to tell you the truth. Static says, I have Foster, Livramento, Diaz and Bissouma on the bench. Best bench boost, yes or no? Nope. Again, relate back to the 16-pointer. I'll break that in. I don't fancy City for a clean sheet this week. Let's go Livramento 4, Foster 2, Diaz 2, Bissouma 2. Actually, Bissouma 3. What you got there? 4, 6, 8, 11. No for me. Anthony Chung, what's your thoughts on Duffy being rotated with Veltman and Lamptey available for selection? Cheers, James, and good luck. Hopefully you've heard me cover it already, Anthony. I know FPL Seagull thinks Veltman will play centre-back and Lamptey will play right wing-back. Again, you find his predicted team on my timeline. I retweeted it earlier today. Adam Keenor, would you sell Ings for a hit this week, James? Nah. What, Southampton world beaters or something? Nah, not for me, my friend. Stian Bosdale, just letting you know all my questions for the Q&A on Monday were written sober. Have a fabulous weekend. Hope Harry's doing all right. The boy's doing very well. Thank you very much. Stian, I saw your long-ass-winded fucking question that you've got in for Monday's podcast. We won't be covering it on Monday's podcast. We'll do it as a full podcast at some point on Patreon. And if you'd like to support Planet FPL on Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Only the 22 additional podcasts from intermediate tier and above, and the advanced tiers will tell you, talking tactics on a Thursday, more fire. Ryan Walker says, I'm on wildcard at the moment. Trossard over Mbuemo. Checks Brighton's fixtures. I fucking like Brentford's as well, though. No, I think Trossard falls into that ideal line, as I'd said earlier, where, yeah, 1 week punt, sexy. Buy him. Not convinced. Nah, I'd still go on Mbuemo, I think, Ryan. The one and only Smith, play Rudiger or Gallagher. Already have Chile and James starting. 3 times Chelsea defence owner. Right, presumably you just start all 3 of them every week, mate. Yeah, play Rudiger. Chris Few, not taking the piss, and I'm not the guy from the chat, but I still have more pay. Playing versus Newcastle over White, Livramento, Rafinha, etc. To be honest, yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. Berticus, hey James, should I bench boost with Hwang? We count this one again. I'm going 2-pointer. Livramento, let's call it the 4. Ben White, 6. What you on 12? No keeper though. I know you. I wish I'd read that bit first. Never bench boost without a second keeper, mate. Prashet says, which 2 should I play from Gray, Rafinha, Duffy and Livramento? You will find all 4 of those players, Prashet, on the bench in dilemmas below me on the screen. A player with a tick is the one I'd advise to play. They are in order from page 1 to 4. Keepers on page 5. Sagnit says, Ben Davis train goes choo choo. 4.4. 4.4. Ben Davis. I can't believe no one said Dyer or Davis yet. Ben Davis 4.4. No. We ain't kicking I don't care who's our manager. We ain't kicking clean sheets, mate. I wouldn't rule him out as my kind of cash cow next week. It's possible, but I'd probably be looking to bench him most of the time. Chimfreed up. Evening, James. I am having a nightmare. Take some sleeping pills, mate. Actually, no, don't take sleeping pills. I need to start 2 of the following players. I'm currently starting White and Cornet. Options are White, Cornet, Livramento, Antonio or Duffy. Rub my fucking eyes here. We're starting Cornet away to Chelsea over Antonio. That what we're doing. And Duffy at home to Newcastle. Well, I mean, those 2 would both be over Cornet for me. To be honest, I wouldn't be having too much debate about that. It'd be White and Antonio this week. Actually, I'd go Duffy over White. I'm just checking the bench in dilemma. I did put Duffy over White. Yeah, because of the potential for the attacking. If it was Tierney, I'd go Antonio Tierney. Duffy over White. Yeah, I'd struggle to come to terms with playing Cornet over Livramento as well, personally. Jeremy Khalid, start Nacho over Cancelo. As in Ian Nacho. I think if he's in, yeah, you do, yeah. Ricky Donahoe, Mount to Sun from -4. Because of what Tuchel said earlier today, I'm inclined to say possibly yes, but have you got a good bench option? Have you got a good bench option? I think is the deciding factor for you there, Ricky. Vikram says 2 free transfers. Antonio and KDB to Kane and Jota. Yeah, it's reasonable. It's reasonable. FPL Sponge, Antonio to Tony and Laporte to Chilwell. Or save 1 move to roll a free transfer. With Laporte suspended, that move to Chilwell is very straightforward. And I think if you are going to kind of move Antonio on, it's now, isn't it? I still think Antonio will do well over the next weeks because he can score in the big games. But if you're going to make that move, it's now. It can't be better than Antonio playing Liverpool and Tony playing Norwich. And Antonio might outscore him this week because he's brilliant. But I think if you're going to make that move, like I have, and it's part money orientated for me, then I think now is the time, mate. Switchbone says, we've got about 15 minutes of deadline, by the way, guys. Switchbone, hello, James. Havertz captain versus knocked out my confidence. How I make good decisions now, how I know I'm making a decision out of fear, or it's my vision, I'm lost. To be honest, with the best respects, mate, I was completely fucking lost reading that, mate. But just chill, mate. One bad mistake doesn't... I mean, it's not even a mistake, mate. I fucking made it as well. And I'd have done it again. If Havertz was playing Norwich this week, I'd consider captaining him again, mate. I wouldn't hesitate. They beat him 7-0. He just didn't return. And TJ, hi James, hope you're well. What do you think of transferring out Matt to Sun from -4? I literally just covered that for someone else, Ant. Thanks for the question. Oscar says Rafinha and non-playing 4.5 to Jota and Tony can only just afford, will be priced out if any of them go up. I'm very keen to have Jota in Firmino's absence. But do you need to have him this week? Personally, I was surprised if Jota outscores Rafinha this week. It's my personal opinion. I think the key one there is Tony. Like, if you don't get Tony, what are you playing instead? And I guess that kind of makes it worthwhile, maybe. But hang on, you're moving Rafinha to Jota. Can't you just get Tony in from the 4.5? Jota's more expensive than Rafinha, so presumably you can just go 4.5 to Tony and come back for Jota next week. That's where I'd be at. John Lawler, I have Cancelo and Diaz. Should I bench Diaz for Livramento? Cheers, James. I'm going to say no. And I tell you what, Ruben Diaz wouldn't normally be that far down the benching dilemmas. Most of you who are in here regularly will know I go, don't bench Man City, Chelsea defenders. Or Trent, ever. Ibrahim OS, play Livramento or Townsend. Love from Munich. Guten Abend. Is that afternoon though? Oh, Guten Tag. Sehr gut. Das ist wunderbar. Ja. Ich liebe dich. That's not as rude as it sounds, by the way. What was the question? I forgot. Livramento or Townsend? I've got Livramento over Gray on the benching dilemma, so I think that it's the same answer, isn't it? It's got to be Livramento. Arvin's asking the question I've covered 99 times about Ronaldo to Kane -4. Sapa bench Rafinha, Duffy or Cancelo. If you check the benching dilemma screen, mate, you know, in your own time, you'll find the answers. John Dean, hi James, hope you're well, mate. Would you play out of Antonio and Buemo? Only really dilemma for me. You'll find both of them on page 1 of the benching dilemmas. Actually, it's a lie. You'll find them Buemo on page 2. There's your answer, mate. Adi Tour, hi James. The predicted scores are frozen. I think that's sorted now. Actually, I'll check again in a moment. If you haven't got your questions submitted by this stage, guys, I've got next to no chance of getting to you. And apologies in advance for those I don't get to. Let's try and power through these. Jacob NH says, evening James, who do you prefer going forward as an option? Azpilicueta or Diaz? Want to sell one for Chilwell and already have Cancelo. Will I sell Diaz of the two this week, personally? I think Azpilicueta will play. Hans Petter Forsenson, evening James. Bernardo Silva out, Trossard in for funds. Spurs next week. Yep, that's fine, mate. Jeff Priestman, cheers, James. Thank you. You're welcome. Sandeep, Smith Rowe, Gallagher for long runs. Smith Rowe. Mr. Gruntu, start 2 of Mount, Antonio, Livramento. I can't see Mount starting, so that's by default. Rob Pick says, hi mate, see Armstrong ahead of Livramento on the bench in dilemmas. Is that purely based on your preference for attack over defence, or is there more to it? It is that, Rob, and it's also that I think Armstrong plays, and I think Southampton win tonight, and I don't fancy Livramento for a clean sheet. So therefore, it actually is quite a straightforward one, in my opinion. Matt Lakin says, hi James, Hwang to Tony and Azpilicueta to Lowton for free. Or keep 2 free transfers for the international break, but just doing the Asp move. I'm going to guess you've got a really good bench. I don't hate that if you've got a super bench, but you're not saying Azpilicueta to play Lowton. Surely not, I presume. Hwang to Tony. I like it. Most other people won't, I don't think. Andy Norman, Traore out and Buemo Son in or alternative suggestion. You can sell Adama Traore for Heung-min Son in 1 free transfer, mate. Go Heung-min Son. Eshen says Havertz to Son and Grealish to Mbeumo or Smith Rowe. Which one? Grealish to Smith Rowe. Havertz to Son next week. Adam Keener, for those that want to see James' predictions as the graphic is frozen. Adam, what a lovely top man you are, mate. Adam's tweets got them all. Although I think it's fixed now. Cheers, Adam. Summer B, thoughts on Tony Captain? Norwich centre-back pair are injured. Yeah, but Gibson's back and he'd be first choice anyway. He's back from suspension. I imagine they'll push on Bamadelli central. He's nobody's fucking left back. Probably Brandon Williams or Jan Udis play left back. So I don't think that makes too much of a difference. No, he's not the best option for Captain. West MA says, hi James, start Livramento or Broha. My principle would be Broha, but I'm not convinced he starts. I'll go Livramento, mate. Sagnick says Jimenez or Antonio to Tony for free or roll the transfer. Antonio to Tony is the move that I've made, mate. T-Tac, bench 2 of Grealish, Rudiger, Livramento, Tony and Buemo, Antonio. You're trying to get me there. You can't bench Rudiger. Out of the rest, you can't not play Tony in this fixture. You're benching 2 of them, aren't you? That's all. I would bench from that Grealish and Livramento. You says, is Rafinha a must for this week? It's not a must for any fucking week, mate. I can't seem to fit him in my starters. Salah, Smith Rowe, Havertz and Buemo. Personally, I'd play him over Buemo out of that. But, sure, cool, mate. It's close. Joachim says, play Alan St. Maximin or Livramento. I'd go St. Maximin. In case I'm wrong. I think Brighton win very easy tomorrow, but in case I'm wrong, I'd go St. Maximin. Just again on forward versus defender principle that I like to have. Sheree MC, bench Gray or Bissouma. Bench Bissouma, mate. Dragon says, hi James, Chilwell and Mbuemo or Region and Rafinha for the upcoming few weeks. Thanks. It's Chilwell and Mbuemo, mate. Vast Felix needs to replace Raya. Which goalkeeper around 4.5 million long term? We'll go with the one we said earlier, Vicente Gaeta. Prabesh Sharma says, bench Tua, Cancelo, Livramento, Jimenez, Antonio. They're all on the benching dilemmas, guys. Again, to repeat, if you can check your benching dilemma screen, please, because the answer's probably there for a lot of your questions. Please do the courtesy of deleting your question if your answer's there. It means I can get to more people. Sedzia says, no question, just big thanks to you and Suj for all your entertaining content. Appreciate that. Thank you. Rashid Valencia, Rudiger or Cancelo in playing 11. Have Chilwell also in the team. He's got to be the Chelsea defender at the moment. Dylan Kennedy, hi mate, Aspi or Diaz to TAA, thanks. Neither right now, roll the transfer. George Nibbs, hi James, start Livramento, Duffy or Cancelo. Again, we're on the benching dilemma screen. Borjan, who should I captain? Antonio, Ronaldo, Gallagher or ESR or Rafinha? Out of them, I'd go mad on Rafinha, you know that. Ryan Quinn, hi James, start TAA or live. You don't leave out TAA, mate. It's a non-negotiable. Hammers fan, so I don't particularly want to start Trent. You're impartial, I've told you. Oscar Vanade, start Rafinha, Leicester away. For starters, it's at home. Or Duffy, Newcastle at home. Thanks for pointing out, even though it's wrong. Cheers, Rafinha, mate. Ragav says, who to start? Antonio Cancelo. Benching dilemma screen again. Below me, if you're not quite sure where that is. Ryan Walker, best 4.0 defender. Manquillo or Marty or Johnson? Probably take a chance on Johnson if I had to buy one now, but none great. I mean, Eddie Howe might bin Manquillo straight away, so I don't think you can buy that one at the moment. Spicy Turtle, FIFA 22 content. Hey James, thinking of going Benrahma to Jota next week, but we'll need to do either Kalechi or Hwang or Gray to someone 5.5 or less to fund it. What do you reckon the second move should be? Need 0.2 more. Well, this is a question for next week, isn't it? The international break will probably dictate an injury somewhere in your squad or a concern about someone will probably dictate for you where you go to find the money. That's exactly where I'm at. I know I'm going to Havertz to Son. I can't afford it right now. Who the other player is I'm going to sell, I ain't even thinking about it now, mate. Couldn't care less. And if they're all fit, I don't know. I'll think about it in a couple of weeks, mate. A man Khan says Antonio and KDB to Son and Kane -4. Not for the -4, mate, no. If you want to go like KDB to Son now to open up to Antonio Kane next, but I don't think it's worth a 4 personally. Romanathan says, hey James, sell Christensen for James or just play and hope for a start. Thanks, good luck. If you can make the move for free, I think I'd probably do it, mate. But I can't guarantee you that Christensen doesn't play and Reece James doesn't. Would it be a surprise? Let's be honest, if Reece James doesn't play, Christensen probably plays right-sided centre-back and Azpilicueta plays right wing-back. Mind you, Trevor Chalobah. He likes to play Chalobah in these sort of fixtures, isn't he? Oscar Vanade, is Duffy worth starting over Rafinha or a Man City player? No, but I mean, who's the Man City player? Depends, right? I'd pick Duffy over Diaz. FPL Hitman, now that you have an elite manager, Dyer or Davis, just kidding. You don't have to answer that on the People's Poll earlier. Hope you make Spurs watchable again. Cheers. It made my heart go some last night. And Deal says, Livramento or Rafinha. It's on the bench and dilemma screen. Darragh O'Neill, Foden to Rafinha, Jota. Question of 2 free transfers. If I don't do that, I'll have to let the transfer roll. That's okay. Love Rafinha for this week, but I'd rather have Jota in the forthcoming weeks, I think. Harrison Lewis, start Hwang or Veltman. Hey, a question that's not on the benching dilemma screen. I'd go Veltman. Close one, that one, though. Good question. A man Khan says KDB and Antonio. I've just done that one. Yassine says bench 1, Antonio, Livramento, Diaz, Rafinha. They're all on the benching dilemma screen, guys. I mean... Mud says play Jesus or Foden. I'd play Foden. Nigel Sam, hi James, KDB to Son for -4 this week or -4 next week with Vardy to Kane. Next week. Lewis Monroe, benching nightmares, who to bench? 3 of Jimenez, Livramento, Rafinha, Antonio, Grealish and Buemo. I'll answer it because Grealish is not on the benching dilemma screen. But I play Antonio, I play Jimenez, I play Rafinha. That order. R Ham says, "Hi James, just got in from work. Got 2 free transfers to use with Armstrong, Hwang, and Diaz on the bench. Only player I can think to use on is Diaz, but who for? Region before good fixture start. You got 2 free transfers. Yeah, open up money for future transfers, depending on what you want to do next. Consider Emerson Royal genuinely, as covered on that podcast earlier today, as an alternative. If you've got 2 4.5 million keepers, smash one of them down to a 4.0 potentially. But yeah, open up the money. Obviously, if you do get Region, bench him this week." Omar Khalid says, "Should I get Gallagher?" For who? Who you selling, pal? Tanzine Habib. "Hi, James, Antonio, Livramento, Sarr, Josh King. I have all 4, but which 2 to play and which 2 to bench?" I'm going to say Antonio and Josh King. Dergish says, "Hi, James, I need one suggestion. Antonio, Cancelo, Livramento, who should I start?" This isn't a repetitive question that's answered on the bench in Dilemmas. Thanks for your question, which has been answered 99 times already. Meninda Priyar, "Is Mount to Jota now a better option over Mount to Son?" Probably, yeah. Pivek says, "I'm on wildcard and currently the owner of 11 fixture proof legitimate differentials like Jota, James, Chilwell, Tross and Buemo, Tony, Hwang, Son, Kane, Tavares, Regon. Only got 4 from starting 11 last week. Thanks for sharing, mate." Jarrell says, "And Buemo captain next." Dylan Farrell, "Hi James, wondering what are the reasons behind starting Armstrong over Mbuemo?" A little bit in terms of a non-certainty that Mbuemo will play, but there's nothing between them. Nothing between them. I just think if I had both in my squad, and that's when I make these decisions, what I try and do. I look at it and I'm right, if I had both in my squad, which one would I be more comfortable leaving out? Actually, for me, Dylan, it would be Mbuemo. But a lot of these this week are such close calls. They really are. Tech Zio says, "Which 2 to start?" Yeah, play Christensen, play Rafinha. Yeah, great. Nikhil Pontis, "Would you do Havertz to Jota?" No, not this week. James Howe, yeah, they're on the bench in Dilemma screen, mate. SE17, "I have 2 transfers and want to bring in Buemo, Tony. What do you think?" Well, sounds like you've answered your own question, mate. Inst Kenzo, "Cancelo, Duffy, Rafinha, bench 1. They're all on the bench in Dilemma screen. Liam Ramos, "I got 2.1 million in the bank. I got Townsend, Sarr and Gray. What would you recommend to do over the next few weeks to get Foden and Son?" I'd recommend firing all 3 of them out of a fucking cannon, mate. Those are the 3 you want to get rid of. It depends on the rest of your squad in terms of what kind of players you've got on the bench, in terms of whether they can be used or not, because there isn't an easy way to get there without me saying, right, get 2 4.5 million midfielders and then get Son. Essentially, that's what you need to do, right? I would be looking more seriously at people like Smith Rowe, Gallagher, similar value, good options. A man can't, and Mbuemo. A man can't says, "Does the tick mean to bench them or to play them?" It means play them, mate. Axial says, "Vardy or Son?" What does that mean? Captain, buy, sell? Ollie Sad says, "Evening James, am I able to ask the Sky question or wait until 6:30? You're able to ask it, mate, and pop it in the chat. Don't do it now. Do it literally at 6:30, mate, after I've said we'll jump the questions." Thank you, T-Tac. A man Khan says, yeah, fucking once was enough, pal. Cheers. Thank you, Ramanathan, as well. Not Rag, enjoy the content. Thanks, mate. Should I sell Jimenez for Tony or roll the transfer? Rolling's okay. Jimenez is still a good option. If you've got the luxury of moving it, yep, why not? But are you happy to sell Jimenez with the fixtures he's got in the next 3 or 4 weeks? Jordan Smith, "How long is Firmino out for?" I don't know, but it's a serious hamstring injury. Harry Kane's serious was 3.5 months. It could be that long. If he's lucky, a month. But I doubt it. To be honest with you, I'd be surprised if he plays again this year. Sanakara, "Play Cancelo or Smith Rowe?" Smith Rowe, my friend. Stephen Martin Jones, "I've got Jesus, he's -4 an option." For what, mate? Lucas Broska, "Tierney is playing. Thankfully, I am fucking not Mikel Arteta, mate. Arteta said, yes, he's probably available, but then he's got to pick him or not. Tavares has been playing well. I think Tierney plays." Philip Yamofio, "Hello, James. Who would you bench between Mount, Diaz, Livramento?" I have Cancelo, and Mount is a doubt because of his teething problems. I love that. I'd bench Mount, mate, but your deadline's gone, guys. But I'm just going to do Bogdan Russ for fun. "Hello, James. I'm finally getting rid of Mahrez. Who to buy between Jota or Zaha? Thinking long term." definitely Jota. For those who I didn't get to in the questions, many apologies. If people didn't ask the same questions over and over a million times over, I really might get through a lot more of the questions. Anyway, cheers. Anyone who's got any non-FPL questions, feel free to stick them in the chat now and I will get them covered for you. Next week's content, Monday, will be our Game Week 11 review. Tuesday will be People's Poll. I don't know what it'll be yet, but we'll think of something. Wednesday will be Sky Fantasy Football. Next week's Clash the Correspondents on Thursday is Wolves versus West Ham with Bradley Parker and Chris Stone. Next Friday, Arch James will return to a Friday. Obviously, it's international break, so no deadline next week. Our Patreon podcast this week will include on Monday a Q&A. Tuesday, I don't know yet. Wednesday will be Tottenham. Thursday will be a quiz. Friday, I don't know yet. I do have some suggestions for Tuesday, Friday podcast, but it's someone I need to approach with an idea for that that's possibly EFL related. If you want to support our content on Patreon, as said earlier, www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Come and join the Slack community for £3 a month. £3 a month. Come and support our content, and people dropping random team leaks and the likes in there. Brilliant. Think of like our Slack community is like a nicer version of Twitter where people actually help each other and don't just banter people like I do on this stream, but it's because I get frustrated repeat questions. Or as said earlier, from intermediate tier, there are 22 additional podcasts in November and 22 additional video content from advanced tier, which includes, I can tell my advanced tier patrons, as I told them on the team news stream, that next week to replace the team news stream, we'll have a Zoom call together, little catch up and a chat with each other. All sorts, bits and bobs. Come and support the content. If you want to join Patreon because you think, oh my god, I'm going to be a better FPL manager, listen, there's loads of patrons out there that you can go and follow and make you better FPL managers. I don't promise to be one. What I do promise is to try and provide the best content in the FPL community. Right, let's see who's asking not FPL questions. I can't wait. Let's have a look and see. I really should have jumped already, would have done me a favour. Next has kind of time-stamped it for me. Deadline in 1 minute. Cheers. Ramathan's at deadline 30 seconds. Chris Poor. Excuse me. Sky question. Of course, Chris. No problem. Sarr and Gray to Mendy and Gallagher before they play this week. Or wait till after the international break. Sarr and Gray to Mendy and Gallagher. I'm trying to think in my head why this works. It doesn't. There's no games on the fixtures there, mate. No. It sounds like to me you just want to get Mendy in because so many other people got him. So, nah, it's a no from me, Chris. Froda says, good luck all. Hit that like. Yeah, much appreciated, guys. If you want to send the Planet FPL love as well, hit the like button. It all helps to get the Planet FPL word out there. It means I get more people asking repeat questions in the stream. One day I'll charge for it. But generally that's what patrons for. I had a couple of people messaged me last week and said, James, why don't you turn on Super Chat to get rid of these silly questions and just cover the Super Chat questions? I want to support your content. I said, well, that's what patrons for. At the moment, I try and get through as many questions as possible. I mean, if I was Andy and I had 250 subscribers or whatever the fuck he's got, I would have the Super Chat on. Peter G says, evening, James. Sky question, long term. Livramento with Kane, Salah, Ronaldo, or Dunk with Salah, Kane, Antonio? Well, it's not as straightforward as that, Peter. So when's the move? When's the move? That's, you know, Antonio, really, it's a sell like next Saturday after the Wolves game, really. From a Sky fantasy football perspective, it's not now. So it's not as straightforward as that. So does buying Livramento now allow you to come off Antonio next week? I'm not quite sure what to say, Peter. But generally speaking, Kane, Salah, Ronaldo is the combination you will want the most in December. FPL Kaka says, as a Milan supporter, I always had loads of respect for Conte, and when he left Juventus and Inter, I was relieved for our chances. He is so elite. I think special things are coming for Spurs. Yeah, I had a special thing came for Spurs before, and he just proved to be just a little man. I'm quoting my current manager now. Naeem Al Taher, how old are you, mate? Not as old as I look. I'm 37. I will be, counts, oh yeah, one more, 38 next month, mate. Just before, I'll tell you, you can all come and have a fucking party with me. Just before the Gameweek 16 deadline. There you go. Talking of which, well, I remember deadlines just briefly, because jokes aside, most of you in here are lovely. Gameweek 13 deadline stream will happen as per usual. I might not be able to do the kind of Q&A bit afterwards, because as soon as I'm done, bang, I'm off and I'm heading to Manchester. That's because I'm going to Turf Moor the following day, Burnley v Tottenham, and there is no possible way of getting there the next day. So I'm going up mid-afternoon, or early afternoon rather, to Manchester. I'm going to organise a bit of a drink up in Manchester that night in time for the Brighton-Leeds game, which is a 5:30 kickoff. I don't have a venue sorted, but I will confirm in the next week or so in terms of a meeting point. It's not a gig, like Suj isn't coming. It's not going to be a podcast. I'm going to be in a pub. If you want to come and have a beer, come and have a beer. I'll be in O'Neill's, I think. I can't promise this one, though. I'll be in O'Neill's probably in Liverpool, 11:30 to 12:30 this Sunday, if you're around. I'll be with a couple of Spurs lads. If you want to pop by and say hello, that's the O'Neill's right near Liverpool Central Station, if you want to pop by and say hello. Because I'm going to Goodison Park Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Liam H, best beer at Spurs Stadium. I haven't properly been in the Beavertown in the stadium yet, so the answer probably lies in there somewhere. Of the general beers in the rest of the stadium, the Amstel's alright, mate. Ethan says, what's your thoughts on the person finally jailed for racist abuse of English footballers? Good. Good. Lock him up. Teach these people a lesson. Elron Cupboard, would you go with Kane or Son in Sky? Kane, mate. It's the volume of shots that if Conte gets the best out of Kane, like he has done with Lukaku and Costa, and I concur with everybody that Harry Kane is not playing well at the moment, then that shot volume will come. And it's not worth saving the money with Sonny in that format. It's a closer call in FPL, but in Sky, if Kane is affordable, go with Harry Kane. I would like to, generally, over the next few weeks, have both. It's not going to work for me. Himanshu Sharma says, with Conte coming in, do you personally have a spring in your step while going for the matches? Yeah, it was completely different last night. Completely different. We spoke after we did the People's Poll this morning. I spoke about it a bit more on a Patreon pod in terms of, like, I really kind of lost my shit in the emotion last night. So there was lots of likes and lots of didn't like about Tottenham last night. And what I didn't like are the same failings in terms of most of the squad is not good enough. What I liked was the approach to the start of the game, the quicker tempo of passing. Like, everything was just a little bit quicker last night. And they still didn't play well, and we didn't deserve to win, right? Which, I mean, it shouldn't be the case, right? It's the 6th or 7th best team in Holland or something. We shouldn't be having those issues. But it's because the squad's so bad. Also, he's only had 48 hours to work with the system or something, right? And he's going to work them hard. And they're probably not used to that. They probably trained harder over the last 48 hours or so than they have done over the last 48 days, I should imagine. But yeah, of course, I have to. It's an amazing appointment, and it doesn't mean that it won't. It doesn't mean he's going to win anything. It doesn't mean he's necessarily going to go tits up. I know that he is an elite top level manager. I described this about Conte in the past in terms of Mourinho. Mourinho is one of the greatest managers of all time, by the way. I know I take the piss out of him. He's one of the greatest managers of all time. He was an elite manager. Antonio Conte is an elite manager. We've appointed the best manager that we could possibly have appointed. The bad thing is if he's there for like 3 years and then he gets sacked and he's done nothing and we're like 7th, 8th in the league, then you start looking at it and going, no, they're just fucked. But I don't imagine Conte will be at Tottenham for longer than 18 months. I think we're going to have a fun ride. And do you know what? All I really want is a team that I can go and support. Obviously, I want to win and stuff. But I want to go and be excited for the matches and know that they're going to go on the pitch and try their hardest. That's all I ask. And I've watched passive bollocks for the last 2 years. So, of course, yes, I'm pleased. FPL Blue Moon. James, what is your definition of a world-class player? How many world-class players do Spurs have? None. My definition of a world-class player would be someone who would be in consideration to be in the best 11 in the world. And right now, you couldn't put Harry Kane in that category. I think Kane at his peak falls into that category where you could say, yeah, okay. I mean, if we were picking a team tomorrow, we're not having a debate between Lewandowski and Kane, are we? It's not a debate. If it's a debate, you can put him in the category. But when it's not even a debate, you can't. So the answer is none. There's nobody else who'd be near that. Jake Cal says, best biscuit with a brew has to be chocolate hobnob. Oh, them things. They're buff, mate. I'm not going to lie to you. Ryan Walker, how has Ben White not been called up to the England squad? Same question for Emil Smith Rowe, mate. Addy Tour said, hi James, what patron tier is the Sky Planner on? So if you want my spreadsheet planner, I don't know why I don't sell this planner more. My planner is the fucking bollocks. You only need to be on the basic tier to get the Slack, because that gives you access to Slack, and the spreadsheet's posted regularly on Slack whenever I do an update. So only at the basic. If you don't want any of the extra content, Addy, you just want to support the content and have access to the spreadsheet, £3 a month, buddy. Dylan Ferner Rose, make a Premier League starting 11 without repeating players from one team. And we had this fucking question last week or something. No offence, Dylan. Right, let me do it properly because I've got time. Let's go from the big boys. Who have we got to have in there? Let's go Heung-min Son. Let's go Kieran Tierney. That's the left-hand side sorted. Let's go Livramento at right back. I don't know why I've done it like this. Salah. That's the right-hand side sorted. Okay, that's good. Now I need a spine. Let's go Emi Martinez in goal. Let's go at the back. Let's go Ruben Diaz. And I'm going to say Lewis Dunk. Midfield, I want Declan Rice and Yuri Tielemans. Which teams haven't I used so far? I haven't used Chelsea player, have I? Fuck, I really should have a Chelsea player. You can have Chelsea. Fuck it. Stick Kante in there. We'll have him 3 in midfield. Tielemans can play as a 10. Or we play. We play 4-3-3. Son and Salah either side. I need a forward. Who haven't I used? Oh, Ronaldo. That'll do for you. There you go. Adam says digestive or chocolate bourbon. It's got to be bourbon, mate. He's saying, when should I use Limitless and UCL Fantasy? I'd probably Gameweek 6 now, mate. But obviously, it depends what your setup is, mate. Oh, God. A lot of questions. Matthew Hall, what will give you a stroke first? Spurs. People asking what is already on the bench in dilemmas or repeat questions. It'll still be Spurs, Matthew. Romanfan, looking forward to latest People's Poll later. Thanks for the content. If you want to listen to that Tottenham podcast, look, I'm going to end this stream in about 10 minutes or so. It's 40 minutes long. It's all my opinions on Tottenham in terms of tactical setups, with and without the ball systems, my opinion on all the FPL assets at the moment. I'd recommend it. The link is in the bio for this podcast. I'm amazed that I didn't get a lot more Tottenham questions, maybe because I stuck it there. I don't know. Francis Logan, as a Celtic, hopefully Spurs play next year if we drop to the Diddy Cup. Thoughts on West Ham win Europa League? Got a chance. Got a live chance, yeah. I suspect that probably experience as a first year in it will be very, very difficult. And there's some good teams knocking about in the Cup this year, like Napoli, for example. So there wouldn't be favourites. And you'd be cautious of who drops out the Champions League, right? So perhaps teams like Atalanta. There's a few good teams that will probably drop out. You could end up with like AC Milan in there as well. So won't be easy, but they've got a live chance, definitely. They've got an extremely good team at the moment, West Ham. QG123, which Spurs game that you went to gave you the best memory and which one gave you the worst memory? Well, I think, QG, I reckon you're new to this stream. Does anybody want to tell him, like, 3, 2, 1, which game gave me the most joy? I was very blessed, QG, to be in QG. I was very blessed to be in Amsterdam, my friend. So, without a shadow of a doubt, I very much doubt I will ever have a better game ever in the rest of my life. I've intentionally only watched the game back once because I'd rather actually hold the memory of what I remember. You can watch things so many times on TV that it kind of hazes your memory a little bit. And when I watched it back, the one time I did, which was exactly a year today after the game, when we was all on shutdown, Spurs streamed the game again. The actual game was even better than what I remembered it to be. Worst, I think I discussed this one the other week as well, and it actually crossed my mind last night when we lost 4-3 at home to Man City in the FA Cup in 2004. 3-0 up at half time, and Man City down to 10 men, and we lost 4-3. And this was a shit Man City, with crap Man City, who were bottom half of the league. Fuck me, I walked out the ground in disbelief that night. Nick Giordano, what would be your GOAT Man United starting 11? Premier only, can mix here as Egg, Beckham, Ronaldo. Okay, let's go through that quick then. Let's say Schmeichel in goal, Gary Neville, Yaps, Dam, Rio Ferdinand, Dennis Irwin. Rekin has to be in there. I'd obviously Paul Scholes. I think, to be honest, you'd probably still go big Giggs, Beckham. Ronaldo and Rooney, I guess. Will do, won't it? It's not bad. Van Nistelrooy is the one in my head. I'm like, oh, I don't like leaving him out. You could play Rooney and Van Nistelrooy off him, play a flatter free and leave out Beckham, for example. But then Giggs at his pomp left winger for me. So, yeah, I don't think it'd be too far away from that off the top of my head. Static says sorry, I've skipped one there, mate. Meninda says, Sky question, please. Got 4.7 million in the bank. You ain't buying a lot, mate. Okay, spare. And have Gray Ramsey. Thinking Gray to Kane on Sunday and just holding Ramsey. Any thoughts, please? Can you go Ramsey to Kane? I'm guessing you can't. What's Ramsey? 5.8-ish or so. That's not going to work. Go Ramsey to Son as a consideration. I feel like you're probably just short of that as well, Meninda. I don't like on-the-day moves, personally. Like, you could hold Gray for one more. I mean, you're not desperate to have Gray against... sell Gray against Tottenham, or desperate to have Kane against them. The following week, you've got the same problem, but at least with that one, Gray's playing Man City, and then Kane's got Leeds at home. That's a little bit better. Everton got a few Sundays in a row, haven't they? I think I'd wait till the 21st, personally, rather than make it this week. Nah, fuck that. Do it now. Do it now. Yeah, if that's the one you want to do it now. Static, non-FPL question. If Harry had to either play for Arsenal for 250,000 a week or Yeovil Town for 10k a week, which would you rather him do? Mate, 10k is enough. 10 quid's enough. I'll quite happily go down to Yeovil and watch the boy. That'll do. GDP, thanks for the content, James. You must be chuffed with content appointment. Yes, it's covered. Joe Finney Batter, what's the chance of me keeping my 100% win record of watching Watford at the Emirates? I'm 2 for 2. I put it at less than 5%. I'll give you 10%, Joe. Milanda Villain, do you think Conte sticks strictly to two anchormen in the middle, Højbjerg and Skip, or can you see Ndombele there? I can. In the team news stream I did for the advanced tier patrons, I said I had a sneaky that the Celso might play instead of Skip on Saturday in terms of a deep lying control of the game. I think Conte wanted Ndombele, right? So people think, oh, he's going to get shot of him. And last night he went to Ndombele when he needed someone, but I think he's probably a little bit conscious that for what Conte demands, you ain't going to get 90 minutes from Ndombele yet. So work him up. Keep using him half hour for the impact and stuff. I think because of Everton's issues and the kind of style that Everton are doing at the moment is kind of 4-4-1-1/4-5-1. Well, it's more 4-4-1-1. Tottenham can expect to have more possession, and I think Everton would look at it and go, yeah, leave Højbjerg and skip on the ball all game. Now, Lo Celso's a better footballer, isn't he? Certainly in terms of his distribution. So I have a feeling he might play. I'd be delighted to see Ndombele in the team with Højbjerg on Sunday. So I think eventually that will change. Alternatively, I think it could go to 3-5-2, as I discussed on the People's Poll, that I think at the moment, kind of leaving Lucas in kind of close to Kane and stuff is probably a better solution, but I wouldn't be surprised further down the line if it becomes 3-5-2 and just Kane and Son up front. Atul Balaji says, who has the best beard in the Premier League? Jose Sara's my vote. Not bad. I would have said Nuno this time last week. Josh McCrea has sent Antonio over Cancelo. Yogesh Rapani says, what's your overall? Also, what's your target rank this season? I'm 436k, I think, which I'm pretty pleased with at the moment because I was about 385k. Didn't captain Salah. Fucking nosedived to about 700k and made it back up nearly in 1 week immediately. So quite pleased with that. And the team I've got this weekend, there's not too much that should hurt me. I guess no Chilwell, James are probably the real two. So, I mean, that, like most people, I think the engaged players will have a good week versus kind of the less engaged players, I think. So I would expect most of us to have a good week, actually. Target, personal best is 21k, so it's to beat that. Dylan Ferner Rose, anyone know this lad's day job? You mean me, mate? Yeah, this is it, boy. That's why I will need you to fucking sign up to Patreon so I can feed my child. This is the day job, it's the night job, it's the evening job, it's the middle of the night job. Carson Schaefer says, how many Spurs jerseys do you own? Christ. Loads, because when I was a kid I used to have every one, so sure, any of the 30, I don't know. How many do I actually wear? None of them anymore. Addy Tor says, Ajax away, more a hat-trick. No shit. Nick Hill says, your favourite team in Europe other than Spurs and outside England? I would say Barcelona. I've done this a lot of times in terms of the connection between Barcelona and Spurs players when I was in my youth. Also Terry Venables as well, who was Tottenham manager when I started going every week. So always had a look out for Barca, followed them very closely, watched so much of them through the noughties and the early teens when I had time. And were obviously a joy with the likes of Ronaldinho, Messi. It was the first European Cup final I ever watched, was when Ronald Koeman scored for Barcelona against Sampdoria at Wembley. So there was loads of reasons why I had a like for Barcelona. Then I went there and saw how the Catalonia police deal with fucking people, and I couldn't give a fuck about them anymore. H8 5 at the back, crazy or crazy genius, Livramento, Cancelo, Christie, Duff, Trent. Deadline's gone, mate. Triple X Stex. I had doubled up on Tony and Mbuemo, but I feel like it might have been a mistake. Joseph Elliott, evening James. Sorry, non-FPL. Who's your free captains this weekend in Sky Fantasy? Emi Martinez tonight. I will almost definitely be Antonio Rudiger tomorrow, and Mo Salah on Sunday. QJA, when do you think Spurs will win their next trophy? When I'm dead. Adam Abdi says, without Brentford assets really worried me. Thanks for that, Adam. Yep, cheers. I think I covered you all there, actually. Cool. Sweet. Thanks for the questions, guys. As I said, if you want to support our content on Patreon, I won't repeat myself. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Enjoy the football. Hope your arrows are green. Ciao for now.